And we're back. Welcome to another episode of Awesome Stuff Badly with me, Uncle Dr. Ernie, in our new self-service kiosk project. In our last episode, David and I dug through and started learning about the kiosk industry, which we know nothing about. Yes, but that's how you start. You start by knowing nothing, and you do the research, and you come up with a vision, and you test it against reality, and you iterate, and you iterate, and you iterate. And the difference is that this time, I really got to start thinking about the market seriously, which we did not worry at all about, or hardly any about, in the last one. But the good news is it does seem like there's a fairly small number of players. These guys, Previsio, seem to be the dominant software force, and they're all Windows and Android. So a Mac, Unix, web alternative seems like it's a viable option. And I'm sure there are others out there trying to do it. But if they've been doing it for a while and haven't made a splash. So if we can do something really fast, really cool, and get a real customer, maybe we've got a shot. Anyway, we don't have anything else to do. Maybe we'll give it a try. All right. So ready when you are, David. Start by praying. Dear God, just thank you for this new day, this new project, a new hope, a new future, as you promised us in Jeremiah 29. Lord, thank you that your plans are to bless us and not harm us. God, I have no idea what's going to happen over the next 3 weeks, just like I didn't when we started the Hour of Node. And a lot of things went right, a lot of things went wrong, but we just trust that it's all from you. And God, I just want to be faithful to do your work, to have positive experiences with people, and to work hard on the things I need to work hard on, and completely forget about all the things I'm not supposed to work on. God, I leave questions about customers and funding to you, what's happening with Mr. Jory. Lord, you alone know what we need to get done by when, for this to be successful, for us to have healthy and prosperous lives. I thank you for the promise of Psalm 112 and for the promises of Jeremiah 29, and we pray that we would live them out. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Let me resend invite to David since I'm not getting it. The email. I know what it takes to actually get people onto Google+. There we go. As usual, I have to try 3 different invites to make sure one of them goes through because I never know.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to go to GitHub. And let's bring it up. Oh, Daniel's here. Let me just text him, see if yes, we are on Google Plus if you want to join us. All right, Swan Factory. You seeing that okay?
Yes.
So, self-service kiosk. Sound good?
Uh-huh.
Right. Good ignore license. Let's go with the MIT license. That's a little better. And
I don't know if it matters. You're using the dashes there, and I don't know. Did we decide on that, or?
I think that's what that is the domain. That's what we were able to get the .com for.
Okay.
Right. Sure. That's what I bought beforehand. That's what I bought on yesterday. That should be. Yeah. That's us, right?
Oh yeah, hover.
Yeah, that should be us. Till 27. Yes, and that's nice. They give us automatic privacy, so they're registered to hover rather than us. We don't have to have our email blasted everywhere. All right, Daniel won't be joining us, but that's fine. It's having family time. Okay, so tagline. So we need some sort of good tagline to think about this. What do I call this in the opening up the kiosk industry? That'd be a little bit the kiosk creation to anyone, to the internet, to the world, to the web. Any thoughts, David?
To any and everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Create repository. And all right, contributors. Okay, that's not very small settings of members. That was what we're looking for, right? No, people here, collaborators. That's it. So we're gonna do the GitHub authentication dance. And password. And Google Authenticator is probably gonna. Oh, okay. Okay, choose an existing team. Let's just do that. Actually, let's. There we go. Let's just call this. Just get the team here because that's fun. And then we got here. We got David go first. Daniel soon thereafter. Barilla. Ian. And that should do it. Okay, are they added? Yes. Okay. Do I have to do anything to add it, or is that just it? No, repository. No, we've got repository. Okay, so then we want, what do we call this? I'll change this. Okay. We got a project, we got a team. Let's, yay. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Coding desktop. Actually, this is the problem. We want to make, yeah, SSH, good. I always get that problem. Remember, you have to do the SSH clone, not the HTTP clone, otherwise you don't get all the... And that's going to be the source. All right. So, the source. All right. So what do we do in the next 20 minutes to get things going? I think what I want to do is start creating. So the idea would be, let's the faces here. So, what in God's name can we create in 3 weeks that would turn the industry on its ear? The probably a good place to start is actually the wiki. Then let's take some notes. Okay, get the first page. Home. Okay. let's get back onto the screen sharing.
We're creating a kiosk engine, if you will, right?
Yes. Okay. Okay. So we want the home page would be ccspit.com, and then the deployment site. It's probably worth actually having a pair of these things. And the idea that this is a kiosk, this is a configurable. Okay, this will be our. Are we getting marked down? Right? Yeah. Okay, this is the website. Public website. Okay, this would be the. It should be basically a configurable kiosk engine, which basically has login. So what do we want. So the idea is that users can create an account with us and can what's this thing? Actually, let's think about this. There's new user, just create an account. New kiosk, create their own custom site, and then add page is add a display or interactive page to their site. And kind of freewheeling here, just kind of think through the different things that we want to be able to do is show all their custom sites.
So is the idea that the kiosk would just kiosks, they're hardware, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or that's right, it'd be on tablets. Is that?
So I think there's all sorts of different kind of kiosks. If you look at like the Vivolo site, but basically it's a screen that the user touches is pretty much what a kiosk is these days, right? And so sometimes they're actual tablets, but often they are like basically giant TV screens with an IR. Because let's face it, there are no Windows tablets to speak of, right?
Yes.
And so, for Visio people are using Android tablets with, so if they're using IE9, I have no idea how they work that. So anyway, but yeah, apparently the bulk of the market is, well, the bulk of the traditional market is Windows PCs. Provisio supports Android. There's lots of people doing sort of one-off iPads, but that's considered, I think, a high-end solution. And I don't know who owns the. That's actually an interesting question. Who owns the market? So anyway, so let me think. This is actually the.
Well, so the tablet, right, is the interface.
It's either an actual tablet or something that looks like a tablet or acts like a tablet, that it's a touch thing.
And then there's the other part of the kiosk, which is actually, of course, what it services, like either something that you're purchasing that you're getting, or it's a service like the medical.
okay, so let's think through this. So what is a kiosk?
Because I mean, one case, you know, the one that comes to mind that has become, I mean, widely used and known is Redbox, right?
Is that the
That's where, yeah, that's the rental, the $1 video
right?
rental.
Right. Yeah. So that's interesting. There's the so what is a kiosk? A kiosk has several components. There's the physical. So there's let's think about it. There's usually a so there's two things. There's pure software kiosks, which send email or fill out a database, and then there's what is it? Physical. Um,
Yeah, you get like something physical.
Either they perform an action or deliver a
Product. Yeah.
Tangible product. Well, actually, let's think through these. Actually, there's probably what other kinds of so it could send email or create an order. It could be display a virtual good, like a movie. Provide information.
Yeah, it's informational, right?
Yeah. Order. Let's call this digital kiosk versus a physical kiosk. Can be action, deliver a tangible product, e.g. Redbox. Service, e.g. vision testing. Much more performing actions for tangible kiosk. I guess operate machine. G. Like a
Oh yeah.
right.
Oh yeah. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, right. I mean,
So
they usually have control panels, and they have these physical buttons, usually the big round ones that stick up and they have red light on them and stuff. But actually, yeah, there's no reason why that stuff couldn't be done via through software and touchpad.
right. Well, I think one of the things that's interesting is the way we got into this business is because our first potential customer has custom hardware for doing vision testing, right? So there's a physical box that contains lenses and optics and things like that, and he needs software to drive all the displays and the custom hardware. I mean, when you think about it this way, actually, a ATM is just a particular kind of kiosk which happens to print out money.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Box, or an ATM, and the hypothesis we're going with is that the value of a kiosk is generally this is actually what's
self-service, right?
What okay,
being able to do as much as you can for yourself.
right, is empowering people to do things for themselves. I guess the point.
You know, the way I kind of think about it, it's like I had heard this vision of cars, right? So, you know, we all have our own cars, right? We have keys, and we don't want anyone else to get into them. They're highly personalized, right?
Right now, yes.
Yeah, and the vision that I've heard in the past is that, you know, some people felt that someday cars would just be everyone's property, and you just need one. There's one sitting there. You just get in it and use it.
Right, that's called a zip car. You can get those in San Francisco today.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
but actually, what may actually get there? So there's three different. Interestingly, there's three different alternatives to automobile ownership that are competing in the marketplace right now. One is Zipcar, where you can basically just find a car and get into it. The other is Uber,
oh, yes,
where you basically revolutionizing the user interface for the taxi industry. And the
exactly.
third is Google self-driving cars. And there's lots of debates here in Silicon Valley about which vision is actually going to win 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Right, but there's generally consensus that owning a car is actually interesting fact. We've probably already hit peak car. Like teenagers today don't expect to own a car. You remember what else was like for us when we were 16
Yeah.
driver's license, that was the rite of passage, right?
Yes, exactly.
16-year-olds, they don't want cars. Partly because partly because they're growing up a lot slower in some ways,
Yeah.
and independence. But part of the reason is that because of all the teenage accidents, they've changed the rules.
Yeah, that's true.
You really drive yourself or family members, i.e., you can't go on dates.
Yeah.
If you can't go on a date, what's the point of having a car?
That takes away a lot of the motivation, I would suppose.
And so, that whole dating and mating rituals that are centered on the automobile have been radically shifted by cultural and legal forces. So anyway, so we've probably already hit peak automobile ownership, and people are much more likely to borrow a car or use public transit. Or frankly, actually, another interesting data point is that telecommuting actually saves more mileage than public transit. More people are avoiding a trip to the office by telecommuting than by taking the bus. And I can certainly vouch for that too. I'm more likely, and I don't do it very often, but I'm much more likely to work from home than I am to take the train. And, yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Want to weigh in on this?
Yeah. But I was thinking, because as we're talking about this, my idea of what a kiosk is and can be is sort of, I mean, it's changing. I'm seeing it as, just you need a tablet for information or to accomplish something. It's kind of like a zip tablet, if you will.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
He came back for a visit.
Yeah. We're getting ready to wrap up anyway. But I think the interesting thing here's the premise that I'm gonna put on the slide at least is that the value of a kiosk primarily comes from the location or custom hardware, right? Because either it's software is just the cost of doing business. Doing business and should be reliable, cheap, flexible. Right, so that's the premises. Right now, people, because they spend so much money on the physical hardware or the location, and they just say, okay, and then we need some software to make it work, and they just get it from wherever, and it tends to be hardwired into the physical hardware because that's where the value is, and people don't think, oh yeah, the goal is to make. This is actually worth writing down. um, um, the goal is to make Kiosk software as accessible, cheap, and reliable as a blog.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
we want to be the WordPress of Kiosk software.
WordPress. Yeah.
Right, so it's basically we create an open source solution that makes it as easy to create your own kiosk as it is to create a blog. Now, it's not trivial to create a blog with WordPress. I have friends who have failed to do so because, you know, their technical skills are not, and comfort level is just going through a login and figuring out the UI is not trivial. And I totally get that.
Sure.
But for anyone who's able to create a blog, they ought to be able to create a kiosk, right? And the goal would actually be to literally create an ecosystem like WordPress, where you can use the default themes, you can upgrade for custom themes, you can have people design their own themes. And
Oh yeah. So we could have pre-made themes then, is what you're thinking?
well, yeah,
Start with that.
Yeah, there'd be some basic themes and packaging, and in theory, you know, freewheeling with no actual data or evidence, as we always do at the beginning, is that rather than having to, so one possible way is that we expose the full power of the web. But another way of doing it is to say, okay, the web is big and complex and actually legacy. And a kiosk is a really constrained environment. You don't need the entire power of the web. You need a subset of the web that is easily configurable. And so the theory would be that we could create basically the equivalent of these, just like we have our game description files are primarily about the logic of the game, but you can actually tweak colors and things like that.
Uh-huh.
The idea would be is that we could actually create essentially our own dictionary-driven style mechanism to make it really easy to create and manage, you know, the 80% case. It's a little. That's actually a tough question: is whether you should embrace all the complexity of the web up front, so that people get that level of control, or do you just, or you do it the Apple way and say, no, you don't need the web. You need 20% of the web to get your job done, and we'll pick that 20% for you and make it super easy to do stuff with it. And if you do it your own way, that's your problem.
Part of the problem, I think, with Microsoft is that it's high. I mean, one thing I do like about it is it is highly configurable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the problem is that's where the bugs and security, or I should, well, lack of security, the security insecurities come in, like attacks, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's actually a good point. Is secure.
Yeah, it just and I'm not saying that there's no way to do it. I'm not saying that just because something is highly configurable, it'll always have security problems, but that happens. That seems to be at least the case.
We call it the attack surface, right? The larger the API, the larger the attack surface.
Yeah, the more amount of holes there can be.
Right. Yeah, and that's actually an interesting point. So the big thing over the next, over the next, I guess really the next couple of days, is really figuring out how to scope the project. Like, how big should this thing be, and what is its starting point? Is the starting point we want to embrace the full complexity of the web, or is the starting point no? We want to be ridiculously simple and secure and reliable.
Yes, I would vote for reliability.
Mm-hmm. So let's actually
being stable.
Yeah. So let's actually so let's actually make these numbers.
Yeah, I would like.
So listen, number one, reliable. Number 2, secure. What's number 3?
Reliable, secure, simplistic,
Yeah.
simplicity, simplistic, simple. Yeah, accessible. I think the growth of the product can come in time, of course, as long as we maintain the reliability and security.
I guess. And then
and I think the affordability of it is the open source part, right?
Right. Well, that's well, the part of it is free. The idea would be, tiered. Right. So then let's see. So pricing. So the idea would be that the free tier, basically email only, no storage, minimal configuration, and then we'd have something that their product starts at like $149, right? So and then we would want something that's like $9.95 for the which is backend storage, and then
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's typical too. That's totally doable for a lot of people.
something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, what would be worth $30 a month?
For monitoring and
Real SMS. But yeah, something like that. The idea is that things that cost us more time and money, you pay us more for.
Sure.
But a subscription model would be.
So, is the interface of this is web based? Is that what we're thinking?
Yeah, the goal would be to is that both it's web native, right? So that the way that you configure the stuff is all via the web, and the way we deploy it is all via the web. Either a direct website or an offline Chrome app. If you have limited connectivity or unreliable connectivity.
So some questions that come to mind. I don't know. Sorry if I'm getting it.
It's 12 o'clock, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Sign off?
Yeah, probably pretty quick there.
Okay, well, just give me your questions.
Okay, well, just some questions I have is, how many, if any, kiosks are already web-based? Maybe there aren't any at all. Maybe some are out there.
Some of them are, because apparently the Provisio one is web-based with IE, but it's like ActiveX controls plugged into IE9.
And then the other question is, can web-based, the ones that actually offer a tangible product?
The hardware integration?
Yeah, then you have the hardware integration to be concerned about. I'm just wondering if the web could still work that way, or if it has to be, if the OS of those kiosks are burned into the chip on the kiosk itself, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Those are just some
Yeah,
questions.
those are very good questions. I have some theories about that. Um, it depends on the short answer is on the one extreme you can have like plugins for Chrome where they are doing custom hardware. At the other extreme, you can buy really simple chips that can implement a web server with
Okay.
hardware. And so you would say each module would essentially be its own little web server, and your app would just send XML HTTP requests to the different hardware modules to do work, depending on the complexity. And in theory, if you've got Wi-Fi, I mean, you can get, I don't know what the price points on these things are, because you can basically get a motherboard with a CPU and Wi-Fi for $100 these days.
Mm-hmm.
So in some cases, that would be sufficient. I have no clue. We probably won't even have a clue for a long period of time. We'll
Sure.
find one customer, solve his problem, and then I mean, that's I think our strength is that we aren't beholden to any particular technology. We just want
Yeah.
something simple and reliable that works, and we can scour the globe for what's the right hardware, what's the right software, and let's just buy it cheap, build it fast, make sure it works, and then iterate. Because it seems like there's just so much legacy technology that we ought to be able to just bypass. And it'll be a good story if we can pull that off. All right. Have a great day with your family.
Thank
David,
you.
thank you very much for joining me this morning. It was such a
Thank
blessing.
you.
And we're going somewhere. I don't know what, but we're going somewhere.
This is life-giving stuff.
Thank
It
you.
really is. I mean, working with you, praying with you, it's just so life-giving. I feel like I'm a co-creator with the Lord on something. So I love that.
All right. Give my love to your wife and children.
Okay. And you as well.
Yeah, I'll probably yeah, tomorrow we're going to be packing. I will be in Illinois all of next week on vacation. I do
All
have
right.
to sneak away for some times here and there. Are you back at work next week?
Yeah, I start back at Dell on Monday. I only have New Year's Day off.
Okay. If I end up playing hooky from family time to get in some work on New Year's Day, I'll drop you a line.
Okay. I can, yeah, I can work obviously in the evenings after Dell and.
Yeah. You'll be in California time. I'll be on Chicago time, which means your evening would be my late night, which I'll still be up for possibly.
So, how long are you there for?
I'm there till Sunday. I leave Monday, get back on Sunday.
Okay.
So I'm
All
not
right.
planning to get much done, but sometimes I work despite myself. So if it happens,
Okay, yeah. Tomorrow for us, well, you said you're already going to be busy packing. It's the same.
I'll probably be busy packing or watching the kids, so I will try to not.
Yeah. We'll be traveling home tomorrow, and then we have an event tomorrow starting at 2 p.m. and probably goes into the evening. So.
All right. Have a
All
great
right.
have a great weekend, and I will try and touch base with you on New Year's Day, even if just to say hi. All right.
Okay. That sounds great. I hope you have safe travels.
All right. Have a great 2014.
All right. You as well. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.